Maggie Woolek. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Meet the Sponsors, a new series of programmes that will be broadcast in the run-up to the ALBA Scots Trad Music Awards 2020. My name is Joy Dunlop, and over the next few weeks, I'll be chatting to representatives from each of the organisations who very generously sponsor our Trad Awards every year. So obviously the COVID pandemic has affected the arts, particularly this year. However, thanks to the wonders of modern technology, we are still able to bring you the Scots Trad Music Awards 2020. And I guess one silver lining of the pandemic is everything has turned online, and this has given us a chance to talk in more depth with some of the people who very, very generously sponsor the awards every year. And I'm thrilled for this first week that we are talking to three representatives. We have Martin Haddon from Burnham CD. They are sponsoring the Album of the Year category in this year's Trads. Denise Hill from Visit Scotland, who are sponsoring the Event of the Year category, and also Alex Ogilvie, trustee of the Highland Society of London, who are sponsoring the category of Gaelic Singer of the Year. So Balcha Ravula, good afternoon and welcome everybody. I'm going to turn to Martin first. Martin Williamson, are you there? Can I see you?
Yes, I'm here. Hello there.
Hello, how are you doing?
Oh, nice to see you, Joy. You're usually in front of a weather map when I see you nowadays.
Today I have my glamorous bookcase here behind me, which is probably looking tidier than it has in a long time, thanks to the wonders of television. Now, obviously, at the Trads every year, Burnham CD have been sponsoring for many, many years the events. But just to start us off, can you tell us a wee bit about yourself and about Burnham?
Well, myself, I got involved in folk music when I was about 15 or 16. And then full-time, I joined the band Silly Wizard when I was 19. And then that was a big story in itself. But when that split up in 1988, I had already established what was Burnham Tapes then, doing cassette duplication. And we've now progressed into doing CD, vinyl, DVDs. We do graphic design, PR. We sell CDs online. We do distribution, digital distribution, all sorts of it. Basically, it's a whole load of services for independent musicians, label service.
A really important service, particularly at this time of the year. And I don't know if all the CDs we can see in that beautiful background there are ones that you've produced yourself.
Yeah, this is the sort of the back room at our office where we keep a copy of most of the CDs we've done. We don't have them all, but we have quite a collection here.
So can you tell us, Martin, when and why did you first get involved in the ALBA Scots Trad Music Awards?
Well, we got involved at the very beginning. We've sponsored the Album of the Year award from the very start. I think Simon can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that ourselves and Green Tracks Recordings are possibly the only sponsors from the very beginning that are still involved. And Simon, I worked quite a lot with Simon at that time when he was running Foot Stomping Records. We pressed all the CDs for them, and I was in touch a lot with Simon and his parents who were running it as well. And when he approached me with the idea of the Trads and asked if we'd sponsor the Album of the Year, I just, it was a no-brainer. I thought it was a great idea. It was a great way to raise the profile of traditional music. I didn't foresee it becoming just this world domination that Simon's clearly going for now. It's gone so very well. It's gone far better than most of us possibly envisaged at the beginning. But no, I thought it was clearly a thing that we wanted to be involved in, and we've been delighted to keep that involvement ever since.
Okay. And obviously, as a musician yourself, you understand both sides of the coin, what it is like to have to do the music, but also all the work that is involved in producing the CD, marketing the CD. Do you think that helps you with the work that they're doing at Burnham?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. I mean, that helps me a lot, having been on the other side of the fence, as it were. Although we're both on the same side, really. But you know what I mean? I know what it takes to get an album to the point of needing it produced, and now I know what needs to happen from then on. And it's so it's quite, it is quite good for me. So when I'm talking with musicians, in the early stages of a production, if they want to chat to me about the recording or mastering or any bits of that side of it, I do understand that side of it. I mean, I can just about remember what it was like to be doing that. So yeah, it's been very helpful. Yeah.
Even from a timeline point of view, knowing how much time you need to get every bit of the puzzle in place, really, that must be a huge advantage to have that.
Yeah, there's a lot to do, but we get used to it.
Yeah, and I remember speaking to you back in the start of the year when myself and my brother Andrew were releasing an album that perfectly came out as we went into lockdown, which meant that everything was practically cancelled. How have things been for Burnham this year? Obviously, it's a very different year for all of us, but
I mean, I would say overall, it's we're getting by. It's not as a normal year we would expect a normal year to be. It's still okay. We're still doing okay with it, and we're ticking over. We've got a lot of work coming up. We've got some pretty good big projects coming up, and we've got other plans for developments for the future. I mean, I was saying we do PR as part of what we do, for the bands that we work with. And we're looking at developing that further so it can spread the reach of what we do there and get us out into America, Australia, other parts of the world, and take folks' music out to there. We developed this advertising package which is working out very well, where people can advertise their albums in 9 or 10 different magazines that we've broken a deal with. So you pay one fee and the sort of combined advert goes in 10 different magazines, and that's working out very, very well indeed. We've just introduced a short run one-off vinyl service, which a lot of people were asking me for ages.
Vinyl's very fashionable again.
Well, we've been doing vinyl for ages, but the minimum we do is 250. But I kept getting these inquiries. Can you just do one vinyl, for my girlfriend recorded a song, and it'd be good for a present or something. And I was starting to get annoyed with these. I was like, why do people keep asking me? And then I thought, wait a minute, maybe we could do it. So we've just this week, in fact, we've started putting out prices for that, so folk can get one-off vinyls or a short run of 10 or something if you want something like that. So, and we've got other developments that we're thinking about, but I can't tell you about those, or I would have to kill everyone who's watching. I wouldn't kill them myself. I get Adam.
You got somebody else to do that for you. But I guess the most important thing is, particularly at this difficult time, from every side of the program, is that people are still supporting music, buying albums, supporting the artists, supporting the businesses that are producing the music.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I mean, that's one thing we've noticed. We sell CDs online through our own online shop, burnhamcdshop.com, and then also through Amazon here and in the USA. And we've noticed an upturn in that. People seem to be buying more stuff at the moment. I don't know if they're sitting bored in front of their screens, just buying stuff, because there's nothing else to do.
That happens. I can definitely confirm that.
Probably not. I hope not. But we've certainly noticed there's been a bit more of that. And I mean, I would, I always say to people, and I know a lot of people agree, you should buy the merchandise from artists, especially from independent artists. Don't go listening to their music for free, or if you do, use it as a sort of taster, and then buy the merchandise, because it's incredibly the whole streaming thing is just killing independent music. There was a document came out earlier this year. I saw it in NME. I think it was out in a few places, and I've seen it online, which showed you the amount of streams that you needed to earn £1.
Terrifying.
And it was Spotify. It's 237 to earn £1. So I then did the maths of that and figured it out, and we worked out that if you sold 250 CDs for £12 from your website or at gigs, if you remember those, sold 250 CDs at £12, you actually earn the same as you would from over 1 million streams on Spotify. I mean, that's how mad it is, isn't it? And I know some people are doing it now, is use Spotify and streaming platforms, use them as a promotional tool. So if you're putting an album out, put 2 or 3 or 4 tracks up there so that people can listen to it, and if they like it, they'll buy it. You know, if they like it, then they'll buy the whole album. Use it as a taster. Don't make that the end game, because you'll never eat again if you're relying on your income from streaming. I keep saying Spotify. There are loads of streaming platforms, but the model of it has to change. But until then, I think folk could help it if they could help themselves if they didn't set themselves up to be relying on it so much.
Yeah. Very wise advice, and supporting music is definitely what we're always looking for. Now, I've been through lockdown, I guess, trying to find ways of still keeping inspired, listening to music. So I've been asking everybody to choose a performance or a track that brings them joy, inspires them. So can you tell us a wee bit about the video that you've chosen?
Well, the video I've chosen, but I'll tell you a story about it, just quickly. A funny story about it. The video I've chosen or the song I've chosen is "The Lakes of Pontchartrain" by Paul Brady and Andy Irvine. It's Paul who sings it. It's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful song of unrequited love. And I think Paul Brady found the song in America. It's an Irish song, but it's obviously been written by an Irishman out there. And the funny story about it, if I can just quickly tell you, was years and years ago, we did one of these traveling Celtic festival tours in Germany with a group called the Wild Geese, who at that time had Jerry O'Connor and Manus Lunny in them. And they had a great character in it called Norman King, who had a big bushy beard, and he was nearly 50 years old. We were all in our 20s. We thought Norman was ancient. But anyway, at the end of one of the shows in Switzerland, I think it was, a woman came up to Norman and said, "Do you know?" I should tell you first. There's a great line in the song. There's a great line in the song about. It says, "I said, my pretty Creole girl, my money here good, and if it weren't for the alligators, I'd sleep out in the woods." That's one of the lines in the song. So this woman came up to Norman and she said, "Do you know an Irish song? It's an Irish song. It's called 'You Can't Take That on the Train.'" And Norman said, "You can't take that on the train?" She said, "Yes, you can't take that on the train. Christy Moore sings it." He also recorded. And Norman said, "Christy Moore," and he worked out, he said, "Oh yeah, it must be the Lakes of Pontchartrain." But he didn't want to spoil it. So he said to the woman, he said, "Can you tell me a little more about the song? What is it that you couldn't take on the train?" And she thought for a minute and she went, "I think it was a crocodile."
So close. Yes, so far.
Whenever I'm feeling a little bit depressed or down, I just think to myself, there's a woman in Switzerland who thinks this beautiful song of unrequited love is about a guy trying to take a crocodile onto a train. It cheers me up. You should try it.
Well, I think after that introduction, there's nothing left but to hear the song itself.
Was on one bright March morning I bid New Orleans adieu, and I took the road to Jacksontown, my fortune to renew. I coursed all the foreign money, no credit could I gain, which filled my heart with longing for the lakes of Pontchartrain. I stepped on board of a railroad car beneath the morning sun. I rode the rods till evening, and I laid me down again. where the lakes and marshes rise.
A fabulous song there, and a great story to boot by the wonderful Martin Haddon from Burnham CD. And if you're looking for more information from Burnham, you can check out their website, www.burnhamcd.com, for all your musical needs. So another organisation that has a long history of involvement with the Trads is Visit Scotland, and I'm delighted to have Denise Hill, Head of Engagement for Visit Scotland, with us today. Now, Visit Scotland, if you don't already know, is the national tourism organisation responsible for working with businesses and organisations around Scotland to market the country as a visitor destination to travellers. And I know that language, culture, heritage are all very important to Visit Scotland. Is this the reason that you started to become involved with the Trads and Hands Up for Trad and really being part of our quite spectacular event?
Absolutely, very much so. I think in the beginning it was about, that awareness of the importance of culture. Then also just how important events are, that has just grown and grown over time as well. So that was super important too. So we wanted to support that. Increasingly now, what we're doing is looking at that whole area around responsible tourism as well. So, the whole story around music and language has been heightened even further as we look at that. So when we're looking at responsible tourism, we're trying to address, we've just done some work today actually launching what is called our Tourism Declares Pledge. That's gone out today. It's about Visit Scotland pledging its intention to do what it can to address climate change. Well, part of what we can do is to make sure that we're increasingly following that whole sort of idea of responsible tourism. And if that is about making sure that we deliver brilliant experiences, but minimizing negative impacts on the environment, but upping the economic impacts and what have you, the social impacts, but the cultural sustainability is absolutely key within that as well. The need for us to see, well, what can we do if we think this is important for visitors? We want it to be around for decades and decades and decades and hundreds of years to come. So what can we do well, we need to support that. And, and if it's hard out there for, events to make it, if it's hard out there for performers to make it as well, in what small way can we support that? And it's been massive for us. It's opened all these doors to great people like Hands Up for Trad and Simon help us out and direct us to the right people. We've gotten access to bands and performers that we've taken overseas with us to showcase this is what it is, this is what it is about. We've used the music on our ads and on our website and what have you. So, in a small way, perhaps we were trying to do our best to try and support this. And when the opportunity came to first get involved with the Trads, I was totally up for this. I'm a massive Traddy and couldn't wait to go. But very quickly, what I ascertained was this is one of the best nights of the year for me. I love the opportunity to bring guests along to this. So every time it moves around the country, and I'll be inviting in representatives of businesses that we work with, or the local authorities, or partners of all sorts and kinds, many of whom will never have been to anything quite like this. And there's nothing better, I think, than inviting them along. They're a wee bit unsure, they're not quite sure what they're going to see at the Trads. And by the end of it, invariably, they all want to come again. Denise, can I come again next year and be on your table? But in all seriousness, the number of people go, do you know what? I did used to do the pipes. I'm going to go home tonight now and dust them down and get them out the cupboard. Or better still, they're saying, okay, so this is the kind of music I should be playing in my pub or in the restaurant that I own, or putting on my adverts, opening again their eyes to, there's a whole world of stuff here that is amazing and we should all be getting behind it.
I thoroughly agree. I'm totally biased, clearly, but there is something special about our music, about our culture, and you always know that the Trads is where you're going to get the best party of the year. It is spectacular. I know you're a big fan of music yourself, and as I was saying with Martin earlier, I've been asking everybody to choose a video that inspires them, music that has been inspiring them for years and for lockdown, and I was So excited to see your video as it features a fabulous Martin Bennett, who we all just adore his music. It's just phenomenal. Tell us a wee bit about why you decided to choose this.
Well, I'm one, like many of us, I'm sure, who grew up, again, like you, in a wee village. My mum and dad absolutely loved Scottish music, and we were brought up dancing around the kitchen to Take the Floor with Robbie Shepherd and all of that kind of stuff, and always loved it. But, you know, maybe there was a bit of a gap going off to uni and what have you, but then about almost exactly 20 years ago, a friend said, let's go and see, there's this guy called Martin Bennett and he's playing in Victoria Street in Edinburgh tonight. Let's go and watch this. I had no preconceptions at all about what this was going to, and I was utterly blown away. And it just like opened my eyes to something that was just incredible. That was just so exhilarating, you know, beyond words. And from that point on, I have just wanted to be an advocate for this. So as new bands came along, and, you know, so many of them will say that, you know, they've been influenced by Martin. There's a pipeline, if you like, of bands and entertainers coming through that also deliver that kind of exhilaration. And that's what I want other people to experience as well, whether it's my friends and my family, or whether it's all these visitors coming to Scotland. I want them to come and be blown away by this. You know, they want our culture. They maybe anticipate that it's a bit, you know, it's lovely and it's wonderful and it's historic and it's a wee bit dusty on the side. No, it's not. It's absolutely not. You know, our culture has been taken by these young guys, young girls who have made it their own and who have done something with this music that just is out of this world. And I'm just so proud that when I talk about this, you know, with colleagues in other countries and other national tourist organizations, they always have to concede we're decades ahead of them in this. This is something super special. And that night when I went to see Martin Bennett, that was just the beginning for me, and I've never looked back. Love it, love it, love it.
Well, I hope everybody that's watching has got their dancing shoes on, because there's no way that you can sit down and listen to this fantastic music.
Give me some of that old moon stomping.
This is called Handshaker Stomp.
What is better than the phenomenal Martin Bennett to get you going on a Thursday afternoon? And thank you very much to Denise. Anybody that is looking to find out a bit more about Visit Scotland and the work they do, please visit their website, www.visitscotland.com. Now, we are in the middle of a pandemic. Everything has gone virtually sideways, but the wonderful thing is the trads are still here, and not only are we managing to carry on with all the fantastic categories that we've had over the years, we've managed to add some new ones in, and also some new sponsors. So it is a real pleasure to welcome Alex Ogilvie, who is representing the Gaelic Society of London to the programme today, sort of the Highland Society of London, who are sponsoring the Gaelic Singer of the Year category. Welcome, Alex. How are you doing today?
Very good, very good. And congratulations to you for being nominated for our award.
Oh, thank you. The wonderful thing about the Gaelic Singer of the Year category is we're all friends. So it kind of feels like you're having a nomination party with your pals, which is always really lovely. So you're one of our new sponsors this year. What was it that made you think, particularly in the middle of a pandemic, that you would get involved with the trans?
We were involved a couple of years ago with the recording of a piece of music that was written to celebrate, to recognise the 100th anniversary of the ALBA disaster off the Isle of Lewis. It was a piece of music called Sal by Ian Morrison, and we were introduced to that by Roddy Murray at Anlantar in Stornoway. And it was such a wonderful process, both in terms of the piece of music itself, but also the recording and releasing and promoting of the music. And it brought us in touch with Simon and Percy. And when Simon said that there was an opportunity to sponsor the Gaelic Singer of the Year award, it was something that we thought would be fantastic. And in fact, we started last year. 2019 was our first sponsorship, and again, that was a huge success. So we're delighted to be doing it again this year.
Oh, wonderful. And you are involved in a huge range of different projects through the Highland Society, other than the trad. What other types of work are you involved with down in London or further afield?
Well, so our aim is to support the culture and traditions in the Highlands and Islands of Scotland. As an organisation, we're based in London, but all the work that we do is in the Highlands. We're a charity. The way that we operate is to give prizes and awards. That's the way we think that we can drive public awareness and public engagement with Highland culture. And we do that on two levels. So we try to find the best event in a particular category, because that's a way that we can reach the widest possible public. But we also try to give prizes at the entry level, at the junior level, to encourage more people to take part. So, for example, as well as the Gaelic Singer of the Year award, we also give prizes for youth singing at the Royal National Mod every year. Another example is we present the Highland Book Prize every year, which is kind of a blue ribboned event, if you like, for writers writing in or about the Highlands. But at the other end, we give a dissertation prize at the University of the Highlands and Islands. So it's that sort of approach of trying to be as high profile as possible, but also as encouraging as possible to get as many people involved in the arts as possible.
Yeah, you're doing a power of work. And I think what I really liked when I was having a wee nosy into the work of the society is it's not about you. You're not on across all the social media saying this is what we do. You are in many ways quietly supporting a range of events, a range of organisations that are from the ground up, really from grassroots level, supporting Gaelic art, supporting Highland culture. And that is so important, particularly I think in such a digital age. It's very easy to just think you've ticked the box by putting something online, but the work you're doing is different maybe from other organisations in that way.
I think what we understood, and it's funny enough, I mean, you talk about digital, but it's also a physical issue, is that we're based in London, and we're a volunteer organisation, and so we're entirely dependent on the partners that we work with on the ground in the Highlands. So, for example, Hands Up for Trad and MG ALBA, we're totally reliant on them in terms of producing and promoting the Gaelic Singer of the Year award. And equally with the Highland Book Prize, we're totally dependent on Monique Moore, on Ullapool Book Festival, and the William Grant Foundation. So it's really, as you say, it's completely not about promoting ourselves or our organisation. It's about supporting those organisations that are delivering on the ground. And first and foremost, it's supporting the artists, the musicians, the writers, the painters that we're trying to promote.
Mm-hmm. It's a really important job that you're doing, and I'm sure that I can speak for all the organisations when I say they're very thankful for your support. Both financially, but actually more in kind and with the support that you're giving. Now, I have been asking everybody to choose a track or a performance that has inspired them, and I love that you have gone with a track from last year's Gaelic Singer of the Year, Marianne Kennedy.
Yes, obviously a lot of loyalty there, as she was our first winner. But also she has played at an event we did in London 3 or 4 years ago, and she and Nick are sort of based down the glen from where I grew up. So I'm not sure which track you're going to play, but if it's the one I hope. I think if you listen very carefully, you can hear the rain falling on the bothy roof in Ardgar. So it certainly brings back a lot of memories for me of that part of the world.
Definitely. You can't beat a bit of West Coast rain to get you going on a Thursday. So we're going to hear from the wonderful Marianne Kennedy.
Button tight is Cromarket, button tight at an air, Galacava is Cromarket, Saint Con close the top, button tight is Cromarket, button tight at an air, Galacava is Cromarket, Saint Con close it, Hanyel Kuna Katakam, Hanyel Kuna Tijunku, the Yaves Mountain Bach, the shop, the Hari has a goish, Hanyel Kuna Katakam, Hanyel Kuna Tijunku, the Yaves Mountain Bach, the shop, the Hari has a goish, the button tight is Cromarket, button tight. Dana Galacava is Cromarket, Sahin can Hodm close it up, button tight is Cromarket, button tight, Dana Galacava is Cromarket, Sahin can Hodm close it, Hanyako, the Katakam, Hanyako, the Tijunko, the Yaves Mountain Bach, the shop, the Hadikas a goish, Hanyako, the Katakam, Hanyako, the Tijunko, the Yaves Mountain Bach, the shop, the Hadikas a goish, Highlandu, 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 you. Highlandu ehoro habi bish fudukut Highlandu 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 yuvi Highlandu ehoro habi bish fudukut Recolet to a kid habadu maladun riv Hade fadiga sarian api is a plain root Recolet to a kid habadu maladun riv Hade fadiga sarian api is a plain root.
A fantastic set of Portugal there by Marianne Kennedy and Finlay Wells. That was recorded as part of a live set in lockdown for the Chinnell Gaelic Festival. I think it perfectly represents how this year has been. So thank you very much to my three guests today. With Martin Haddon from Burnham, and they are supporting the Album of the Year category at this year's Trad Awards. Denise Hill from Visit Scotland, Event of the Year supporters, and also Alex Ogilvie, a trustee of the Highland Society of London, who are supporting the Gaelic Singer of the Year Awards. Now, obviously, the Trads will be a bit different this year. It isn't going to be the normal live performance, but do not worry, you can still catch it on BBC ALBA. That will be broadcast on Saturday, the 12th of December, and the award winners will be announced on the night. Also, we're going to see some special music performances that have been recorded, so do catch that on BBC ALBA from 9 p.m. Also, if you keep an eye on the Hands Up for Trad Facebook site throughout the day on Saturday, Finlay Napier is the host of a day of music featuring a plethora of wonderful bands. So do keep your eyes peeled on the Hands Up for Trad Facebook and YouTube site for that. Thank you very much to all our sponsors. I will be back next week to chat a wee bit more, hear some fantastic music, and get to find out a bit more information about our sponsors for this year's Trad Awards. So thank you all for coming. Hope to see you then. Agus, sinna bhuamsa, joy to love.